Is China already in an oil crisis because of Iran? The CCP is being really racist again. And don't worry, the Chinese military is still flying warplanes by Taiwan. That and more on this week's China News Headlines. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. This episode is sponsored by Incogni. Now, you probably know that companies are collecting your personal data, but you may not realize just how many. Dozens, maybe hundreds, most of which you've never heard of, and you have no idea what they're doing with it. Incogni helps stop them. I'll tell you more at the end. Well, we got to start out with the thing that's on everyone's mind, that everyone's talking about and is affecting every corner of Earth. Timothée Chalamet's comments on ballet and opera. How dare he say something so accurate yet disrespectful, you twinkish swine? Oh, and I guess we should also mention China. According to a video making the rounds on X, which has been verified by Grok, for what it's worth, Chinese drivers are lining up at gas stations to fill their tanks before price increases hit. Wow, it's like a time machine straight back to the US in 1973. The Chinese aren't the only ones feeling the pinch, and there's a reason. The Iranian regime has been threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz to shipping, especially oil. With conflicting reports on whether or not Iran has begun laying mines in the strait. Meanwhile, the Iranian regime has also been making some interesting demands, with the Iranian president posting on X, the only way to end this war is recognizing Iran's legitimate rights, payment of reparations, and firm international guarantees against future aggression. I think you have a lot more leverage than you actually have, sir. Especially since the US has been hitting Iranian naval assets, including 16 mine-laying ships. But while some sources are saying the Iranians have laid mines in the strait, others are saying that the strait is already effectively closed just due to what's going on around it, citing a severe reduction in traffic. And yet, somehow, this isn't stopping Iran from apparently sending millions of barrels of oil to China through the strait. So they don't seem to be afraid. And I'm not either, because I'm an expert at minesweeper. I've been training my whole life for this. President Trump has warned that he will hit Iran 20 times harder, if Iran shuts Hormuz down. He even framed this as a gift to China. Like the soldiers Iran keeps losing, that trolling never gets old. China really needs cheap Iranian oil after losing Venezuela earlier this year. And toppling or weakening the Islamic Republic weakens China. Those gas lines are just the beginning. There have also been unconfirmed reports that the Chinese Communist Party is shipping drone parts and other dual-use items to Iran, and possibly even missile materials. Since two ships belonging to the sanctioned Islamic Republic of Iran shipping lines recently left Gaolan, a popular port for loading chemicals like sodium perchlorate, a key precursor for solid rocket fuel. If that's true, those ships will probably get bombed soon. Or the US could just win by not doing anything, since they'll probably just malfunction like a lot of Chinese-built things. Meanwhile, on the other end of Asia, China is being totally racist. It has to do with a Japanese elected official, Ari Afria, who is of Uzbek and Uyghur descent. Ari is the first person of Uyghur descent to be elected into a parliament abroad. The Global Times reportedly called her toxic and frontier poison, frontier being a reference to the Xinjiang frontier. The World Uyghur Congress and Japanese government slammed the remarks as hateful and racist, with the Japanese government calling it an unprecedented insult. Sadly, when it comes to the Chinese Communist Party, I'd call it totally precedented. I'm not saying I'm upset. I'm just disappointed. Except I'm super upset, and to be disappointed, you'd have to be surprised. Taiwan is preparing for war with China. Taiwan has conducted the 5th dive test of its first domestically built submarine, the Haikun. Ah, fearsome name, Haikun. Truly, it will strike terror into the hearts of Chinese communists. What's that, Shelley? Haikun means narwhal? I mean, they're pretty scary, I guess. I mean, man, like, they poke you with that horn, you're not going to be having a good time. What's that, Shelley? It's not a horn, it's a tooth? Really? Wow. Speaking of Taiwan, for years the PLA has been sending planes into Taiwan's air defense identification zone. It's part of their gray zone warfare strategy. So everyone noticed when Chinese fighter jets suddenly stopped, and no one knew why. It was almost eerie. Well, everyone, there's nothing to worry about, because Chinese warplanes are back. All's right with the world. And in case you thought the US was too distracted by Iran to pay attention, the US Navy announced that it sent a spy plane through the Taiwan Strait this week, which demonstrates the US commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific, as well as walking and chewing gum at the same time. And finally, US President Donald Trump is still set to visit China at the end of the month. There was some speculation last week that the Iran war would postpone or cancel the trip, but it still seems to be going ahead. Now we're just getting news stories about how Chinese officials are upset about all the last-minute planning and complain they don't know what Trump wants. Are we talking about a high-level state visit or a 5-year-old's birthday party? Anyway, the Trump administration doesn't seem bothered. In fact, they're launching a new trade probe on China just weeks before the summit. The probe is supposed to identify unfair trade practices, including things like over-manufacturing and dumping products for cheap prices. And since that's China's entire manufacturing strategy, this probe will probably lead to more tariffs on Chinese products. Of course, this could be Trump trying to maximize leverage on Xi Jinping ahead of their meeting. It really is like a mob movie, and the dawn is coming. And this episode is sponsored by Incogni. One time I got a text from Amazon prompting me to log in and change my password. It was so convincing I nearly logged in using their fake link. I was seconds away from disaster. I get these kinds of scams all the time, and I bet you do too. Because whenever you do anything online, there are tons of companies that collect your personal data and then sell it off to these scammers. I'm talking your name, phone number, social security number, home address, and more. When I signed up for Incogni 4 years ago, I discovered there were dozens of companies that had my private information without my permission. This was terrifying. So what did I do? I've been getting as many of these companies as possible to delete my data from their systems. I did it using Incogni, and you can too. Incogni has already gotten my details removed from 991 of these data brokers who've collected my info, and I didn't have to do anything after signing up. Incogni just handles it. And now you can help your family get rid of their data on the internet too, with Incogni's new Family Unlimited plan. And with Incogni's custom removals feature available on the Unlimited and Family Unlimited plans, if you find a people search site that's giving out your info, paste to get Incogni and reclaim your own data. Go to incogni.com/uncensored and use the code uncensored to get 60% off an annual Incogni plan. Erase your personal data from the internet with Incogni. They can't harm you if they can't find you. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching China Uncensored.